Hi, folks. Since last time, there was a lot of things happening in Europe and around the world. In the Victory Day at 9th, before yesterday, May 9th, there was celebrations in Moscow. President Putin has made a speech talking about the present situation. He has said that we are before a major shift in our civilization, human civilization. And he didn't say it with these words, but actually it's something that you read between the lines, that Russia will have a major role in this process and in the next phase of the civilization. And he also mentioned it, I understand, quite not merely innocently. He referred the Chinese role on the Second World War, defeating the Japanese. So he was he made a very point, emphasized this point of China being the partners at this process right now in the history. So he did not talk about escalation or something like that, but he pointed out who is behind this complication that was came out from 2014 in Ukraine, and he pointed that was the British and the Americans, so United States and Great Britain. And he talked about in general, the allies here in Europe as a second, in the second line. But this is important because I normally try to listen to his speeches, and he makes it clear that he knows who is moving the strings, and he always talks about the elites, especially the elites. But when he mentioned countries, he's mentioned only two: United States and England, Great Britain in this case. So at the same time, in the same day, there was this European Commissioner, nobody elected. We have already talked about this woman, Ursula von der Leyen, the German ex-defense minister, and she was in Kiev celebrating the European Day or something like that. They want to make their own version of the Victory Day against the Russians. It's a very Russophobic thing that many elites here in Europe they have. Historically, we have already talked about it. She was doubling down the problem with Russia, promising more money to. Actually, the deal was done 2 weeks ago or something like that. This €1 billion in ammunition to the Ukrainians. And also she announced the same day the 11th round of sanctions to Russia. Not only to Russia, this time third-party sanctions. That means that the European Union now advises the countries in the Union to sanction the countries that don't sanction Russia. So, and here we have two major parts: the Chinese, which is the most important deal, the partners, trade partners for almost all the countries in Europe, and in the other point there is the Turkish part. And Turkey will go to elections, double elections, government elections, presidential elections next week, and it is next weekend, and this will be very important. So maybe we will talk about that next week. So these are two countries that the Europeans now want to sanction, or they are moving the pieces to start sanctioning the biggest economic partner, China, and one of most important neighbors, Turkey. Don't forget that Turkey has retained in the country more than 1 million. I don't know if it is 5 million, indeed, immigrants, refugees that want to come to Germany, to center of Europe, and the European Union have paid Erdogan some years ago, so they paid annually 700 million euros to retain this wave of this mass of immigrants who want to come here to the European center. So this is the news. They want to double down the problems. The first 10 times they have sanctioned Russia, it didn't work. Not even didn't work. That worked against our interests, European interests. And now they think that the 11th time will be the good one and that it will start working. Actually, she said something that she believes now that the Russian economy will start crumbling, and they won't have capabilities to send weapons to the front, and they will start losing the war. Well, we have already listened this 1 year ago, so now 11th round of sanctions. Let's see how long it takes to see this here in Europe, here in our economies. In the meantime, today or yesterday, the Ministry of Defense of the Great Britain, Ben Wallace, has said in the Parliament, he declared that they have sent weapons, these long-range missiles, Storm Shadow. These missiles, these rockets, has to be launched from airplanes, but it has actually the almost 3 times capacity, 2.5 times range, the range of the IMARS, but have to be launched from the airplanes. And the purpose of this is something that the Zelensky was asking for a long time, is to hit Crimean Peninsula, for the so-called and so waited counter-offensive that it might take place soon. I think now the soil, the mud is drying out, so it will be soon, 1 week, 2 weeks, the weather conditions. The other question is if they have these capabilities to launch a counter-offensive. They have practically lost Bakhmut, which was one of the logistic points, very important point, much more important than this mere symbolic thing. It was not mere symbolic because it's the crossroads of highways and train ways. So, and there was the logistic support for the other conurbation, Slavyansk, Kramatorsk. Let's see what happens in the next days, because the Russians will now try to conquer this conurbation in the western part. So in the military field, that will happen a lot of things in the next weeks, for sure, because the weather conditions now are good for both sides to improve go forward. Let's see what happens in that field. But Meloni, there was this article by Bloomberg, also these days, this week, that gave for granted that the Italian government have closed all the agreements with China for the structures, for the building of structures within the Belt and Road Initiative, the Silk Roads, the new Silk Roads. But yesterday, on the Italian media, she said, Italian Prime Minister said, this is a very complicated decision to take. She is meeting the parts in our government to take a decision, but is not taking for granted these agreements with China. So maybe it will stay on the partnership with the Chinese, but it doesn't look good that even they went a step behind, because this was very important for the Italian economy, for the Italian industry. China is a great market for the auto industry, for a lot of other things, and now they are rethinking all this, and this is a problem that we have not only in Italy but especially here in Germany. I mean, because of these third-party sanctions that the Germans, Olaf Scholz last week have come with, the sanctioning China and stuff, the Chinese have said, look, your finance minister, Christian Lindner, is coming here. Do you know what? He doesn't come here. So they canceled the travel of the German finance minister in the last minute. He was almost departing, and they said, no, you don't enter the country, go back. And the foreign affairs minister, King Gang, said, no, I will go to Germany. I will go to Berlin. I will talk not only with Frau Baerbock, my counterpart, the minister, and with your prime minister, the chancellor. And he was here yesterday and today here in Berlin. Yesterday he talked with Baerbock, Annalena Baerbock, the minister. And today he talked with the prime minister, the chancellor, Olaf Scholz. So he is the counterpart of of the prime minister in Germany. Prime minister in Germany won't talk directly to Xi Jinping, because Xi Jinping doesn't even reply to the phone calls from Joe Biden. So imagine his agenda: 1.5 billion people, many things to do. He has a lot. Agenda is full. I don't talk with Biden. Biden talks with Wang Yi. Wang Yi is the one on top of the foreign affairs minister, and the foreign affairs minister in the hierarchy for international relations is the number 3, and he talks directly with Chancellor Scholz. And he said, everything is okay, and the Germans said, everything is okay, China is very important for us and stuff. But government consultations in June, everything will be clear. We will know what Germans want from China and China wants from Germany. From the Chinese part, we know what they want. They want free trade and they want relations. But the Germans are playing here. They are playing around. Actually, they are saying one thing, and in reality, when it comes to the point, they say, we don't do that. And so in June, there will be very important, because there will be interference from the Americans, from Joe Biden. Blinken will call Baerbock, and Baerbock will escalate problems with China, because this partnership cannot go ahead for the Americans. And the Americans here are the bosses. Forget all the rest. Here in Germany, very probably in Italy, they will go out of these infrastructures, because the Americans will put money. The Americans will put new infrastructures in Italy, because they won't allow Italy to be on this Belt and Road Initiative, neither the Germans. But this will be a disaster for European economies, especially these two ones. With France, I don't know, because France has already now made a lot of deals in China when Macron was there. It was very important, very significant what he has reached in China. But Italy and Germany, quite worried about this because they can be the end of their industries and moving to the American soil because of all this. There is an article, actually, I will mention here 3 articles that I'll put here down below for the ones who want to read. One is about the from the Atlantic, Jake Sullivan, a lecture in the Brookings Institution, where he talks about the change of paradigm, that globalization is dead. We already knew this from the Trump's time, but the battle for the microchips and technology for the future. So he said that the government will put a lot of money. Basically, is that they already made it with this Biden government, very clear with 2 laws or 3. One for the renewal of the new paradigm of change, climate change and everything in the industry. The other one was the chips law for the microchip support of the new microchip internally done and not dependent on Taiwan. And the more recent one in the end of last year of IRA, the Anti-Inflationary Act. All these laws are very shadowy in terms of legality in the World Trade Organization, and they are pushing European industry in to take the industries themselves to them. This is the problem for Europe, and Germany is completely in the center of this. Annalena Baerbock, now I am fully sure that she is an agent. She might even don't know that she is an agent. I don't think that she is clever enough to know that she is being used by the Americans to destroy German industry. But this is the fact. Doesn't matter what she thinks or not. The other one is Ursula von der Leyen, but everybody knew this. Another article very interesting about her history as West German from Lower Saxony state. Her father was from the president of the. It's a big state. It's it's the biggest state actually in area, but not in population. But was also the poorest in the western part of Germany. He was the president between 78 and 90, and there was a lot of scandals. All her background and her father's background, they are tied with the National Socialists. And this is how the things are here in Germany. Now they are just showing the face that was always there. And it's very interesting how these old Nazis, they are not neo-Nazis. Neo-Nazis for them are scum. They are only utile pieces to be using, like now in Ukraine. Okay, go there in the front and kill some Russians because we hate them. These are the old Nazis in the Demo-Christian apparatuses. And this is very interesting, this article. Look at it. It's from the Covert Action magazine by this guy, Evan Reif, or Reif. I don't know. He is American. And there's another article. No, actually not. It will be for the next time. For today, there is enough, I think. And for next time, maybe then we will talk about what is going on in the Middle East. What are the plans of these Zionists with Iran and with the Palestinians, and most important of all, with Lebanon? Because Netanyahu has threatened Lebanon directly. But last night there was a lot of rockets being fired into Israel, a lot of this Iron Dome working. Many people say now that this Iron Dome is not working properly. there was 15 Palestinians dead before, so this was a reaction from the Palestinians from the Gaza Strip, actually. So it was in the response. And what is happening down there? Because the country Israel was almost in the brink of a civil war. They completely splitted these politicians in two parts, and now they are escalating a war with the Palestinians again, with other countries, Syria, Iran, Lebanon, using Azerbaijan. Let's see next time, because Azerbaijan also is very, very embedded with Turkey, and next time we will know who has won the elections in Turkey. So keep ear tuned in, because we will bring stuff, and you can also bring ideas and make comments and give us the like to fight the algorithm and go up. Okay, see you next time.